right, everyone. Welcome to an all-new episode of the 2 Minute Drive podcast, alongside with my host, Robert Palacios,
What's up?
Jake Ramirez.
What's going on?
How's it going, fellas? We got week 17 in the books. Some pretty good games. I know some thrillers. Overtime thriller with Commanders, Falcons, and then the Bengals and the Broncos with that one. This week, Robert's a little bit under the weather, so he'll be in and out. He'll give his opinions, his thoughts. We still got the guru here, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get the show started. This week's host is going to be Jake Ramirez. So you got a couple of good topics here on the docket for this week's episode. So let's go ahead and dive into your first one. Go ahead and take over and give us your first topic.
Yeah, sure, Abe. Thanks for that. All right, guys. So heading into the playoffs, I wanted you guys, as far as which NFC team or AFC team to make and win the conference championship. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give you my NFC team. I'm gonna tell you why, the reasons why. I'm gonna give you my NFC and then I'll give you my AFC.
Yep.
For the NFC, I've got Tampa Bay, the Bucks, with Baker Mayfield. This guy, he's no punk, man. Like, he ain't no bitch. He's ready to fight, man. So he's got a lot of fight in him. I like it. He's not afraid to make, plays or make throws or whatever. So, I mean, if they need to score, he's going to make it happen. Mike Evans, phenomenal player. I know they were without Cade Otton this past game, but that's okay. I know Robert has mentioned a couple of times already that, possibility of Godwin. I don't know if it'll be this early on in the first round, but if that were the case, if it was to happen, then, man, I mean, look out for this team. Robert has them going to the Super Bowl, and I'm not there yet, but I mean, this is my team, so I've been on the wagon, and so I got Tampa Bay for NFC. On the AFC, I'm going to stick with who I've been, which would be the Chargers. The coach, Robert, you can back me up on this one. What a turnaround from last year to this year. Harbaugh, he's all about it. The fundamentals and stuff like that. I like what he's done. Herbert, maybe you can add to this one, Robert, but Herbert looks comfortable. Now this is Herbert, right? Like, this is the Herbert we've been waiting for. He's been healthy, which is great. I know they got J.K. Dobbins. I know Gus Edwards is banged up, but J.K.'s there still. They got the lad McConkey as the rookie, and then of course their linebacker core of Bosa, Dupree, and Khalil Mack. So I like this team in the AFC as well. So those are my two teams heading into the playoffs.
Awesome, Abe. Awesome. You want me to go, Robert?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Good shit, Abe. So my NFC team to win the NFC Championship, I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings, sitting at 14-2. Sam Darnold is having an all-pro year. Man, he's just, again, we've said this every episode, or I've said it, like, nobody saw Sam Darnold finally doing really this good on a team. He's been bounced around from so many teams that I've forgotten. I forgot he was on the Panthers with Baker. That was,
yeah.
But that was interesting. But yeah, this Minnesota Vikings team, folks, you got Justin Jefferson, Jalen Naylor, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson at the tight end spot. All those players, especially Hawkinson, when that guy's on, I mean, they're a force to be reckoned with. And Jefferson, of course, him and Sam Darnold have just been connecting all year. And then, as Robert always says on the pod, he's talked about Brian Flores on the defense coordinator side. And that defense is looking really good too, holding teams. You don't have a 14.
It'd be so good if Brian Flores was the Cowboys head coach, man. Like, that'd be good. To pair him with Al Harris, they promoted Al Harris, but anyway, I don't want to get into the Cowboys, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure, Abe. Yeah, we'll get into that later. So the Vikings, man, I was strong with Detroit at first, but they lost Montgomery, the running back. That's going to kind of hurt them, but they're still really trying, Detroit. So we'll see what happens. My AFC pick is going to be the Baltimore Ravens, only because I think that the AFC Championship will be is it? It could be Baltimore and the Chiefs, correct?
So wait, so you don't have the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl then?
No, well, that's the thing. If one of these teams meets each other before that or something like that happens, they could still meet in the championship, the AFC Championship, Baltimore and Chiefs, correct?
Hmm. Depending on how it. So yeah, Baltimore. We can't really say right now. It all depends on
Yeah,
how
it's
stuff
hard to.
shakes out on this weekend.
Yeah, so it just depends, but I'm gonna say Baltimore. They're my team. I'm picking Baltimore, even though I still feel like the Chiefs will make it to that AFC Championship regardless. Baltimore, Lamar playing best year yet, I think. You add Derrick Henry, as we said all year, their running game has gone crazy with him. He's the X factor to that team. Abe always talks about Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. You have Mark Andrews tight end. Some people thought he was maybe already hitting father time, or he's kind of, getting older. Uh, but I don't know. And then you add the addition, or Isaiah Likely or whatever, Abe. Really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Baltimore is going to be a team to be reckoned with, man. We'll see what happens. Those are my two teams, though. What about you, Robert?
Okay. First, I thought I read this topic wrong. It says NFC teams and AFC teams to make and win the conference championship. So I made matchups. So
Okay.
I'll start with the AFC. I think it's going to be the Bills and the Ravens that make it to the AFC championship. And I have the Bills. I just think that this is finally the year where I don't know if they'll win it, but they'll get there. And, you know, usually for the most part, sometimes there's always an NFL MVP winner that gets the Super Bowl. Now, an NFL MVP has never won the Super Bowl, or it has, but it's been like forever since that happened. So I can see Josh Allen winning MVP and he makes the Super Bowl, but then they don't win it. They lose out to an NFC team. But I always thought that was going to be the case this season, that an NFC team was going to win the Super Bowl, just because I feel like the teams are more deeper and more well-rounded, as opposed to like AFC probably has the better quarterbacks, like the big mega superstars. But if you're talking about teams like through the trenches, you look at someone like Minnesota, and they're all well rounded everywhere. Defense, offense, even their special teams is good. So for the AFC, I have those two, but the Bills coming out on top. In the NFC, I did post a picture of Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold in Panthers uniforms when they were both on the team, and I put the NFC Championship. So, just based on if the Bucks get in, I'm going to stick with the Bucks making it to the NFC Championship game against the Vikings, and I think they pull off the upset. Even though great season for the Vikings, the surprise team that nobody thought would have this much success. I know I picked them as a surprise team, but not even I thought that they were going to do like 14-2 going into this. So I have those two. A great story. That's probably the most interesting story you could get for an NFC title game, just based on because everybody wrote off these quarterbacks and they're having like this second life resurgence. And it's great for both, regardless for either win or lose. It's been, they've been given their respect back and they've earned it. And now Sam Darnold is going to get a contract out of it. So I got I'm just sticking with the Bucks because they were my prediction from the get go. But if the Bucks don't get in, then I hope Sam Darnold and the Vikings make it all the way and win it.
Okay.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff on that. But to touch base on that, Robert didn't have Baker Mayfield as an MVP candidate, folks. So
I never did, and I don't know why that's a knock. I don't know why that's a knock.
No, because you're like, oh, the Bucks.
The Bucks
Now,
as a team.
Now you're on the team.
You know who I like a lot on the team a little bit more than Baker Mayfield is Bucky Irving, man. That running back has been a lifesaver.
Anyway, I don't want to get into another hour debate on this, but either way, anyway.
So,
all right, so that's
Robert,
good stuff right there. So go ahead.
So when Josh Allen wins the MVP, I don't want to hear anything from you.
Hey, you know what? But that's okay though, because I still, as long as I know that I put Baker on there and I had the guts to actually talk about him. But okay.
Nah, you're trying to be like cool and hip by picking like
no. You see that
like an out, like he's got an super outside chance to get it.
I lift my friends up, but you know what? You're right, Robert, because I don't want people to think that I don't support my friends, because I do.
So Robert, folks, AFC, he has you said the Bills, Robert, and then NFC, you got the Vikings.
No, the Bucks.
Oh, the Buck. Okay, I thought.
Said the
All right,
Vikings
well,
if the Bucks don't get in.
gotcha. All right, Abe. We're gonna transition over to the next topic, which is Minnesota now the team to beat in the NFC, Abe?
No, the reason why is because nobody expected Sam Darnold to have this kind of a year. So you put that in perspective, then it's like, okay, well, the team to beat is more, I think, the Lions. They're the team to beat. Just because of the fact, I mean, I know they lost Montgomery and I know they lost Aiden Hutchinson, but I think if the Vikings, the record that they're having, the year that they're having, and then they get into the playoffs, and then let's just say they lose divisional round, then it's not going to be like, oh, damn, like it's just a wasted season. It's just nobody expected the Vikings to be at this record. Nobody expected Sam Darnold to play at this caliber level, and nobody expected that at all. So, no, I say
I
no.
respect that.
I could be wrong, but Robert, what do you think on that?
I'm not gonna argue your take just because Detroit's had an incredible season, but I was watching this Lions Vikings game with my daughter yesterday, and by the way, she's become a huge Vikings fan. Man,
Nice.
like first I thought Green Bay was gonna be like the scary team to beat, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Sam Darnold was just like making these throws and not like dink and dunk, like he's throwing like dimes to Justin Jefferson and passes that are like really hard. And, even if you have this team close, like they just always find a way. Like I think they showed a stat yesterday of their record in close games, and it's like been incredible, like how high that record is. Now, could it come to bite them? Yes, because they played so close, but also like they've also won the games that they've needed to, including like squashing and putting up points. You look at what they did, who was it, just like a few weeks ago, where they just score like 35, 40 points. And, that's an offense that I'm scared of. I mean, not to say Detroit isn't scary, but you lose that double-headed monster of Montgomery and Gibbs, and now you just have Gibbs, but it's still formidable, and that offense is still super high-powered. But you want to talk about like a team that's just fully powered. Like, how do as a defense, how do you choose? Like, even as much as I love the Bucks, like that defense, who do you pick to guard? Because they just have monster receivers, and they're gonna have a field day with that defense. Now, the only thing that counters that is that the Bucks have a super high powered offense too and can score. So that's the only reason why I still have the Bucks competing, but as the team to beat is Minnesota overall. Everything defense, special teams, coaching, coaching on both sides of the ball has just been super elite.
Yeah. Abe, the only thing I want to ask you, Abe, real quick is, so who do you have beating the Vikings? The Bucks?
I think the Bucks are capable of beating the Vikings. Like I said, Sam Darnold went toe to toe with Mahomes, and like I said, it was just a bad coin call away from the Bucks winning that overtime game.
Oh, you're talking about Baker?
Yeah.
You had
So
said Sam Darnold.
no. So the Bucks can beat the Vikings.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna.
I give the edge to the
Because
Bucks. I
because
give the edge to the Bucks with the run game.
yeah, well, because the Bucks they have the two-headed monster of Bucky Irving and Rashad Evans, right? Rashad Evans is the
They
other
have a
one.
third back called Sean Tucker who can also
Right.
get in there. So they're deep in running back, which they've never been, and they've never had a good run game, even going back to when Brady was there. That was something they always struggled with, but that's a big reason why their offense has been really high powered and continued to sustain drives, because they're looking at 3rd and 2s instead of 3rd and 10s because of those running backs picking up a lot of yardage on first down. So
And so even if Godwin doesn't come back, Jalen McMillan has really been a really good surprising receiver,
oh, for
stepping up
sure.
on that role as a second receiver, because he's having a good rookie season as well. So with Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan, and then if with Cade Otton coming back, I mean, like I said, they pretty much can go toe to toe with the Vikings. The defensive side, they've got Vita Vea, and they've got
I would
Golston.
like to see. I would.
I like
I think.
Golston as the defensive end, so he's good. He's a big boy. So I mean, it might be kind of like a high scoring thing because Minnesota's defense can't get scored on. The Bucks defense isn't really stout just yet. They've got some injuries, but that's why I'm saying like Baker. I mean, he can put up the points. So
Yeah, for sure. I would like to see Minnesota versus Tampa in an NFC Championship game. That would be good.
Robert and I will go to that game, even if we got to freaking just be outside tailgating.
Dude, if the Vikings go in as well, no, I take that back because if the Vikings go in as a wild card, I think they'll end up facing the Bucks first because they're the lowest seed of the divisional winners. But if they go in, I was gonna say, if they were a wild card but in a different number order, if that ended up being the NFC Championship game, it'd be in Tampa.
Awesome. And see, folks, and Robert and Abe and even myself, we're already excluding that the Eagles don't make it and Detroit don't make it. Man, the playoffs, folks, is going to be exciting this year. I mean, it really is.
So I'm looking at. I wanted to look real quick at the Vikings defense and what's the most they've been scored on. So the Packers put up 29 the first time they met. The Lions put up 31 the first time they met. The Rams put up 30 on them. So yeah, you can score on them for sure. The Bears put up 27.
Yeah.
Crazy.
This was on who, Robert? On the Vikings?
Yeah, this is how much points they were put up by the opposing team. Yeah, and
it's going to be interesting though.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, that'd be a great NFC Championship game.
I like Evans a lot. That's one of my favorite receivers, so I don't mind. Baker has proved himself for sure. So I give you credit for that. We'll see if he could do it. All right, was that everything, guys, for that topic?
Yeah, I'm good for it. I'm good on that one.
All right, this will probably be Abe's favorite topic. All right, so now, folks, the Giants now not getting the number 1 draft pick. Who gets it, Abe? And how does this help change their franchise, whatever franchise?
I was looking at ESPN's draft, and they've got Cleveland at 2, but Robert says Tennessee's at 2. But right now, number 1 goes to the New England Patriots, which I'm very excited for because Drake May. You know what? Ladies, can I get the spotlight for like 5 minutes, guys? Maybe not even that. Maybe like a minute or two because
No.
Robert's gonna fucking feast on this shit. I've become a fan of the New England Patriots. Drake May, man, that guy. Robert told me he was injured. He came back into the game, played it. I know they lost, but Drake May. I like that Rashawn. I think his name is Rashawn Stevenson, or Rashamon or something like that. I like that running back. If the Pats get Travis Hunter, like Robert has been saying for like the past like few weeks now, that two-way player, man, and Robert, you've seen Travis Hunter highlights, like it's just phenomenal. Him as being the corner. What is he, a corner, right? He does corner and he does wide receiver.
Correct.
Or yeah, so I mean, such a versatile player, and then to have that in New England, all they need, if they can get a coach and add on to this, Robert, Pete Carroll. I mean,
no,
would he fit in? No, not Pete Carroll.
No, I if they don't retain Gerard Mayo, which I think he's done a terrible job this season, and I'm just being real honest about my team. I would like Mike Vrabel to come in there.
Mike Vrabel would be great. Mike Vrabel.
I mean, there are still a young team, so maybe get a Ben Johnson, an OC, the OC from Detroit.
Robert,
I would hate this. I would hate this so much, but Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator for the Bucks, would just change the offensive life there. Like the stuff he's doing there, like the fact that they're not talking about him enough for head coaching is mind-boggling. Because if you look at that Bucks offense, that coordinator makes everything work with the players he has. Like, remember there was weeks where Baker didn't have Evans or Godwin, and that offense didn't lose a beat.
They really didn't. That's what I said when he was just going to Cade Otton, and then for some reason Sterling Shepard came out of nowhere and he was vintage Sterling. But what about the 49ers coach, Robert? Would you take him? I can't remember his name.
Real quick, guys. Real quick.
Is it Shanahan?
We mentioned Pete Carroll a minute ago, Abe. For folks,
I'm here in Chicago for him.
Ooh.
Chicago. I was about to say the
Yeah.
Bears, Pete Carroll with Caleb Williams. I think, maybe.
Bears need a culture
Listen,
change.
they I'm not. I haven't given up on Caleb yet. I think he probably just needs the right
Yeah.
personnel. But going back to the Pats, Shanahan, Robert.
No, I mean, I get his offensive style and everything, but I don't like his ability to not close out games and blow leads like that. At some point, your reputation, like it is what it is, and that's like kind of been the knock on him. Like,
Right.
he had this last Super Bowl in his grasp, and he just let it slip away. Again, like, how do you not continue to run Christian McCaffrey in that second half when they just randomly stopped? It was weird. It was the weirdest
Yeah.
decision I've ever seen.
Good stuff from Robert. Hey, folks, just and also if the Cowboys bring back Mike McCarthy, I'm boycotting those motherfuckers, and I will get me some Pats gear because fuck, I'm not doing all that
He's
stupid
coming
shit.
back.
No, well, if he does, then I'm getting me a
That
Pats
happens.
polo,
That happens,
getting me a
folks.
cap.
Apes,
If the Pats
Cowboys
play the
cards.
Cowboys next year, Robert, we are going first class. We are going, and I'll be representing the Pats on that. Fuck that shit. Anyway,
Cowboys card
so
revoked for Abe.
going back, I don't give a shit because that's stupid. But anyway, New England gets Travis Hunter. I was talking to Robert off the air, and you were there too, Doof. I was saying, I mean, and I want to get Robert's point on this one or his thoughts. So if the Pats get it, let's just say they end up are getting the number one pick. Do you see them trading back and getting more capital, or do you see them going one and getting Travis Hunter because they don't need a quarterback? So I know they're not getting Shador or they're getting Cam from Miami. So and if they move back, how far back do you think they go? Because of
Absolutely. I mean, move back like one or two spots. Even if whether it's Cleveland or Tennessee, they both need quarterbacks. So one of those two teams, if it stays the way it is currently, because I think the Pats are going to end up getting number one because they play Buffalo Sunday and that they're not winning. Then yes, why not? Because those other two teams have a much higher need for quarterbacks. So Travis Hunter will still be there, and plus you get the upside of having like another pick, and hopefully they'll finally spend some money in free agency and go get Dre May another weapon. So, well, actually, I would probably use that extra pick, maybe get like an offensive lineman or another edge rusher because you got Christian Gonzalez, who's like one of the top edge rushers in the league. Like he can cover anybody. He got hurt this past weekend, so that sucks. But yeah, like definitely trade down. Not too far, but just enough where you can still grab Travis Hunter and have that extra pick.
Real quick, guys. So where does Shador land? Cleveland or Tennessee? And if so,
well,
like
like Robert said, if they go two back, because I bet you Tennessee will pay to get to that one, and because Cleveland will probably be okay with getting Cam Ward, so Tennessee will be like, hey,
Wait,
we'll
who's to
give
say
you.
Cleveland even gets a quarterback? Because Deshaun restructured his deal, so he's going to stick around.
God,
he's
man,
done.
but
I know
that
he's
would
done, but the
that
Browns
would
are
just
stuck with that contract.
they would I don't know. I mean, Robert, I mean, I would get Cam Ward or Shador and just have him just back up and just learn. I mean, but that'd be kind of stupid to go and get Travis Hunter and then Watson gets hurt again, and then what happens now? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know. I think Tennessee. I say Tennessee pays up. I say Tennessee gets Shador. Cleveland will get Cam Ward, and then the Pats get Travis Hunter at 3. And
Could
then
happen.
the Giants, then it would be the Giants, Jags, Panthers, Cowboys are drafting at 12 right now. So, I mean, we did see at 12 we got Micah Parsons, but either way, I think this is good for the Pats. So,
Oh, absolutely.
but we'll get into more depth on the draft as the year comes because we also have a special that comes up on the draft that we do. So,
That's the
but
season 3 premiere, folks.
But right now, I like the way the Pats are going right now. I like the direction they're going.
Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. All right, folks. This brings us to the final topic. What team in either the NFC or the AFC has surprised you guys the most, making it into the playoffs? Abe.
So I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers because coming into the year, we didn't know who we were going to get, like what quarterback you were going to get, because I know they traded for Fields and then they got Russell Wilson, so you didn't know which Wilson you're getting, you didn't know which Fields you were getting. First 4 games that Fields played, he played decent, he played good. They won, right? And then they transitioned to Russell Wilson because he came off the IR. And then look now they're 10-6. They're in the playoffs. They made some trades on the deadline, and they got another defensive player. And then they also with the receivers. I mean, I know George Pickens was hurt, but Najee Harris had a decent year, and Warren as a backup, as a running back too. He also had a good year as well. So I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think they're going to make it far, but just for them to make it into the playoffs, having the year that they're having, then that's my surprise.
For sure. That's a good one, Abe. Real quick, folks, update as the show is being recorded. We have the Monday night game, the Detroit Lions, San Francisco. San Francisco is 14 right now. Detroit has 6.
14-6. Nice.
Yes. Yeah. Robert, did you want to go with what team surprised you?
Yeah. So for the AFC, I got I'm gonna go with the Los Angeles Chargers only because I knew Harbaugh was gonna turn that culture around, but considering the team he was going in with, they had released Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. So I thought maybe they'd be like a few years away just because in terms of roster. But man, he has mustered every ounce of the players that he's got there for that team. And they're like putting up points. Like we saw them, I know it's the Patriots, but they put up 40 on them in this last game. And they've got them in a high position in the wild card. So that's it's an underrated scary team that we didn't mention as far as like, who to look out for in the AFC. But I wouldn't want to be going up against this team if I'm like, Josh Allen or Mahomes or Lamar, who have the experience in the playoffs. Like Herbert, now with the real coach, has, as Abe mentioned, like the pressure's kind of off him now, and he can kind of play a little bit more loose and play his game because he knows that Harbaugh is going to keep him in check if he gets 2 out of line. So, my surprise is the Chargers just because of how fast they turned it around. And again, I knew Harbaugh was going to make that turnaround, but I didn't think it was going to be this good this quickly, especially with the roster. Now, imagine in free agency if they went out and got like a T. Higgins or something like that, just to complement Herbert in that passing game. And if they're doing it right now with the roster they have, just imagine with actual not that the team's not talented, but even more talented players. So that's who I have for AFC. On the NFC, I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders.
Oh, well, real quick, Robert. Real quick. It was basically just from either AFC or NFC. Just the one.
Oh,
team.
I thought it was both. I'm sorry.
No. You're good.
No, well. Let him say the AFC because I mean he was already going into it. So I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear who he wants to pick.
That's where I was going to go into. My pick was the Washington Commanders.
Oh no, okay, then go ahead. I won't step over it.
Yeah. So my surprise pick is the Washington Commanders, folks. They're sitting at 11-5. They're the second in the NFC East. I'm going to give props to it was shit on me, but I'm going to give props to their coach, Dan Quinn, after he fucking let the Cowboys defense fail us last season in the playoffs. He has turned the culture around in Washington. He's made the team better. He's got them to a playoffs. And then on that side, on the coaching side, as far as Dan Quinn, that's just I guess I'm a doof and I didn't see that coming, Abe. But as far as their players, you got rookie Jaden Daniels, man, Brian Robinson Jr., Chris Rodriguez Jr., which I saw scored a really good touchdown in this last game. Terry McLaurin, Abe, that receiver.
Yeah. Yep.
Zach Ertz is having a hell of a fucking year. Who is it?
And that guy McLaurin was getting shut down yesterday, but Jaden Daniels was still making it happen. And the thing that's most surprising about the Commanders is, yes, like that quarterback's a rookie, and like it looks like he's already been playing in the league for a few years, and I know
For sure.
freaking Chris Collinsworth yesterday was just just terrible announcing. He was like, Michael Penix looks like he's been in the league forever. It's like, dude, like when you said that, he was like 0 touchdowns, 83 yards. I was like, dude, why aren't you saying this about Jaden Daniels? Look at what he's doing. And to add to the Commanders, I'm not trying to overstate your
No.
pick.
Go ahead, bro.
You know, a whole new ownership, Dan Snyder sold the team. They got a whole bunch of new ownership, new coach, new system, new players, and they're sitting at, 10 or 11-5 in the playoffs. That's just
75.
Usually when it's stuff like this, like a team takes a while to get good, and they were like right off the bat. So props to them.
I want to ask Robert this: if the Cowboys, if they would have fired Mike McCarthy and then they would have just promoted Dan Quinn as a coach, do you think the Cowboys have? I mean, even with Dak, with the loss of Dak, only Robert, because I don't want to hear this guy because he'll freaking say no Dak, no chance.
No, because you got to look at the talent at quarterback too. Like Jaden Daniels is just, I mean, looking at it, it's almost like RG3 first year, just wowing you. Is kind of like something, not that we've never seen it before because you have Lamar, but the way he runs too, it's like this guy doesn't slide. He makes people miss, and he does it so effortlessly. Like he doesn't even try. Like I think there was one where he was running to the right and like he stops like super slowly and the guy misses. Like, I mean, it may come back to bite him. Somebody's going to pop him real good at some point. But for this season, like, he's just incredible. But no, I don't think if they had moved Dan Quinn to the coach in Dallas, I don't think it'd be any different because, I'm giving Dan Quinn credit for Washington, but there's a lot of other factors there. Cliff Kingsbury, the OC, he has a lot to do with the offense. The defense is okay, but that's like Dan Quinn's specialty, but their defense isn't all too spectacular. So,
Right.
Again, I'm putting it on the quarterback, the OC, and just the other skill players that they have.
So I know that we don't do this often. We've never done this on the show, but I'm going to be producing next week, and I'm going to give a little sneak peek because he's the guru and he's sick this week, and I don't want to. It'll probably take a while into it, but I want Robert to play GM. I want Robert to fix the Cowboys. Like, I know we don't talk about the Cowboys. I know he hates doing it, but I'm hosting next week.
Nice.
This is going to be a sneak peek, folks, of 2 Minute Drive Podcast.
Interesting.
This is going to be the guru himself. Like, this is his point right here. I want him to be GM. I want him to fix the Cowboys. I want him to give, a 2025 prediction. It's just a prediction, folks. I want him to just give all the analysis. So this is a sneak peek, first time ever on 2 Minute Drive Podcast. The guru to give his to play GM and fix the Cowboys. That's one of the topics next week to come. But good stuff, Jake. Thanks for hosting this week. You had some good stuff, man. Really good. Good stuff,
that's
man.
gonna be an interesting project for me. Okay.
well, that's why I'm telling you now.
Yeah, no, I'll get to work on that. I'll show you all what you got to do.
And so that being said, now that the topics are out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the top 5 power rankings. Jacob, let's go ahead and get you starting us off with number 5.
As at number 5, I have the Detroit Lions sitting at 13-2, who just scored a touchdown. Now the score is 12-14 against the 49ers. Detroit, with the loss of Montgomery, they're still. Who did they smash this past week, guys? Who was it? Who was it?
Who, the Lions?
No. Yeah. Oh, they're playing right now. What am I saying? It must have been the game from like last week. I don't know what I'm watching the game. I'm talking. I don't know. But Detroit, yeah, they're looking really good. I was probably thinking when they smashed the team like 2 weeks ago or whenever it was. Nothing's really changing ever since Montgomery's left the team. It hasn't. I mean, they're still. Are they struggling against the 49ers right now? Sure, but that's. I mean, whatever. Right now at this moment doesn't mean much. But there's a lot of other teams that have made my top 4 that have pushed. Lions were like my number 2, top 3 like every week. Now they're kind of falling behind, but there's a lot of good football to be played. Yeah, I have not much to say about Detroit right now because everything that's in the balance, especially with Minnesota next week. But they're my number 5. Who do you got, Abe?
Number 5, I've got the Chargers. Just the way they've been playing these few past weeks. These few weeks have been good. I know they played the Pats and they demolished them. But still, I got to give it because of the coach, the turnaround that he's done this year. Great stuff. So I got the Chargers at 5. Robert, who do you got?
I just want to state for the record that I don't have the Lions on my top 5 this week, just because of, again, folks, we're recording on a Monday because the New Year's holiday is this Wednesday. So I didn't get. I'm not watching like what they're doing right now. So just for those purposes, I don't want to be called out for it. That's the only reason they're not on it. But at number 5 for me, just based on what we've seen for the week, I have the Baltimore Ravens holding the Houston Texans to 2 points, a playoff team. That's impressive. Scoring 30 back to like early part Ravens, where they were looking really scary. I know these last few weeks they've kind of just been like, I don't know if coasting is the right word, but they haven't been really talked about as much. I know Derrick Henry's kind of stepped back a bit, but they're kind of re-releasing him again as we get closer to playoffs. So they're back in my top 5. And again, they held a playoff team to 2 points. And even my daughter's like, 2 points? How does that even happen? I was like, all this has to actually happen for them to get 2 points. So yeah, Baltimore, they're going to heat up at the right moment.
Yeah, and real quick to add on that, Robert, if Baltimore wins against Cleveland this coming week, they clinch the AFC North. So they have a big game coming.
Yeah.
So Lamar doesn't get sat out. Like they're playing the starters.
Oh yeah,
right?
no, they're playing.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. At number 4, Abe, if you want to take it.
Number 4, I've got the Ravens. They're continuing to be a powerhouse, with that offense. And then for their defense to just hold, I mean, CJ Stroud couldn't do shit, man. I was watching this game and I was like, man, he couldn't, Nico Collins was shut out. And that just goes to show you how much, the loss of Diggs and Tank Dell, it's gonna, affect them. So I mean, man, I had high expectations for the Texans, but now, I don't know, but still anyway, I mean, good turnaround for them to Miko Ryan and stuff like that. Sorry, Uncle Ray. Also, prayers out to him and his family. They were involved in that weather, the tornado, I believe, or something like that. So prayers out to him. But yeah, I got the Ravens at 4, and I like what they're seeing, but like Robert always says, which Lamar are we going to get? I mean, yeah, he's dominant right now in the regular season, but when it comes playoffs, like, is he going to continue that trend, or is he going to trend down? So we'll see how that goes. But right now, I got him at 4.
Yeah, right now he has the stigma of Peyton Manning early on, where he was like, oh, super great regular season, but then when it came to the playoffs, like he just couldn't get it done. We can't say the same thing for Josh Allen because he's at least made it to the AFC Championship game. Lamar has yet to get there, so I mean, he needs to really step it up and get that, monkey off his back.
Can you just admit that you hate Manning, man? Like, and
but that was the knock on Peyton until he finally beat Brady. Like,
now they got the new era, Archie Manning in Texas. He's going to be coming. You're going to be saying the same thing about him.
Coming to Dallas.
Wait a minute. But was that not true, or did you guys barely start watching the NFL like 2-3 years ago, or when we started the show?
I mean,
that used to be the knock on Peyton Manning, wasn't it?
No,
well, I mean, he was great. He was great in the regular season. He won
never
all
really
the
had
MVPs, but then when it came to playoff, he would lose.
I think that was more Phillip Rivers, because Phillip Rivers was phenomenal during the season, and then God, you hate him too. I forgot.
Phillip Rivers. You're comparing Phillip Rivers to Peyton Manning?
No, I'm saying I think he was more of a player that just disappeared in the
audience.
Playoffs.
Like, I'm telling you, the knock was always the comparable situation is Peyton Manning, where like he was just like this.
Hate him? Like, damn.
He was. This is not a knock on Peyton. I'm just saying, like, this. He was this generational talent, super like awesome in the regular season. He has
they got
all
the Manning show.
He had all the MVPs, and then he would get to the playoffs and would either get knocked out by Brady or just lose. That was the knock on him until he finally did it.
So Robert, you don't watch the Manning and on Manning show or whatever on ESPN?
I don't.
I know
I'll watch clips of like whenever there's people that I like that are on the show, but
the Manning brothers, they need to watch us. They need to listen to our show, man. Like, I don't really. Robert, I
Belichick's
don't
on it
watch.
like every other week. They have
Yeah, but
Belichick.
I don't need to watch Belichick every week. Like,
Man,
I'm like, "Ooh,
I was damn I think it was first take, and I think it was Bart, was it Bart Scott, or who's the other
oh,
guy that used to be in Pittsburgh? Robert, he was the corner. Damn, I forgot his name.
Ryan
Anyway,
Clark, Ryan
yeah,
Clark.
Ryan Clark. He was there, and he was like, man, like he was like, I can't believe he's like, I don't want to see Belichick, coaching a college. Like he's like Belichick needs to be in the NFL. And is it going to be weird, Robert, for you to see that Belichick is in college now? Like, I mean, did you ever think that it would get to that? I mean, I don't know. I mean to see it, and then especially in North Carolina. I mean, why? Like, I mean, is he trying to be like Dion, like try to get some
His
smaller
his
school, like
dad coached there.
go?
I'm gonna answer
Well,
this
I don't.
quickly because we're drifting.
Yeah.
It's a little surprising, but I mean, not if you know the history of Belichick, and he's always wanted to kind of go back to that part of the game, just because he was a real
Dad
big
coached
fan of
there.
his dad's.
His
Yeah.
son is there now with him, but anyway,
Oh,
yeah, his
yeah.
son's the offensive coordinator.
Good stuff though.
Jacob,
It's always cool
who's
to
your
watch college
three?
football. Or my four was the Philadelphia Eagles, sitting
Uh,
at 13-3. Abe, Saquon. I don't want to get into it too much about how they fucking utter destructed my Cowboys.
Don't worry, because I will
uh,
do that.
God,
All
that
right.
was
Well,
just
and
yeah.
real quick, since I'll say briefly, Texans fans, shout out to my boy J Cal and Jack. Y'all got fucking demolished. I'm sorry, but y'all Texans fans deserve it when you come at us Cowboys fans.
What are you talking about?
Two
Texans fans are
points.
like super respectful.
No, they're not. Two
Yes, they
points,
are.
not the ones I know. Well, J Cal is
Well,
sorry, J Cal, but Jack, my other friend, is not.
you
2 points, man.
hang
That's
out
all
with
you
better
can put up.
people.
2 points is all y'all can put
He
up.
said-
But whatever.
Anyway, so that's your
I
number
got
four.
the Eagles. Number
All
4
right.
Eagles.
Number three, Robert. You want to hit us off?
I haven't even given you
Yeah.
my number 4.
Oh dang! I
Oh,
thought we. Oh damn!
yeah.
My number 4 is the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna give them like bigger props though this
Oh,
week. They did put a beating on the Cleveland Browns. um, so I mean, finally they got a really good quality win. Won by more than 2 touchdowns. I didn't get to see highlights of this game for sure because I think it happened too early in the week and it was during Christmas. Yeah, man. I mean, the only knock I have on them is they're being a little bit of cowards by resting everybody
oh,
for the regular season, because the Chiefs know if they beat the Broncos, you know who that makes way for, and they want nothing to do with that quarterback getting into those playoffs. So they're going to rest, and Denver will lock it in, and that will keep out our boy Joe Burrow out of the playoffs because the Chiefs don't want any part of them. So they're smart for doing it, but also like a little bit of cowardice because Tom Brady would always play in the season finale games, even though they had locked up home field and stuff. So just saying, if Patrick Mahomes is the greatest to ever do it, he'd be playing in this last game. But whatever. But the Chiefs did do good really well this week, and they're number 4 for me.
All right, let's go ahead and get to number three. Robert, Jay, go ahead and hit us off with your number three.
yeah, man. I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills. They're sitting at 13-3. Um, I think my number 2 and 1, and with the Bills, I think these teams were going to be probably at the top when it comes down to the very end, the playoffs going into the Super Bowl. The Bills, Josh Allen, I know Robert was talking, he'll get them to the AFC Championship, and then what Robert you said probably fell there again.
No, I actually have them going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. I thought you hate the Chiefs and Mahomes, but okay. Yeah, no,
I just don't think they're that good this year. There's a difference. I wish people would
sure.
acknowledge that.
Well, they are that good, but anyway,
You don't even have them. You had Baltimore in your little game from earlier. So if you were so confident on the Chiefs, why didn't you pick them?
Because I'm already assuming that the AFC Championship will be Mahomes and the Ravens, and
you picked the Ravens.
Anyway. Yeah, but I already know the Chiefs are going to win, but because the Ravens are not going to win.
What?
That's kind of
that contradicts what the whole segment was about, because you said who's making it to the conference championship and who's winning it.
It's more like I would like
that
to
means it should have
see.
been the Chiefs for you, but it wasn't.
Well, it's more like I would like to see Lamar and Derrick Henry
Oh, so you
get
should have
there.
framed your question better. That's not what the question was.
Because you already know
Am I wrong,
the
Gabe?
Chiefs. No, you're not wrong. But it's yeah, like I said, I think as far as the Bills at number three, I feel like Allen will get there, but again, Mahomes and crew will shut him down, and then maybe he gets MVP still. Allen will have that good of stats and that good of a year. He gets MVP. But honestly, it's probably going to go to Darnold. Uh, but yeah, they're
I
my
think
number
MVP
three.
goes to Saquon. I think it goes to Saquon.
Nah,
It always goes to the
it's gonna be
quarterback.
Josh Allen.
It always goes to the
Oh my
quarterback.
gosh, man, you fucking fast.
If
Damn.
he breaks the record, the Eric Dickerson record, then maybe you have a shot of he'll win it.
Who do you have at number three, Abe?
I got the Chiefs at number three. They smashed
One more
the
than me, and you
Brownies.
shook your head at me.
They that wasn't me. That was Jake. Fuck
I
that.
saw you put your head down in disgust for some reason.
No. I know Robert has his narratives on them resting the players. I think they do. I don't think they rest.
Because of that real reason.
I don't think they rest. I think they want to go to that. What is it, like 16, 17 to 1?
No, they are
17
resting. It was announced. It was announced on Sunday. It was all over the place that they're resting.
Oh fuck. Well,
Carson
I still
Wentz.
think-
But it's not because, it's not for your reasons, Robert.
Well, no.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
they're not
that-
going to say, "Oh, we're going to rest because we don't want Joe Burrow in," but that's what it
I think
is.
I think the Bengals are still making it. But anyway, I got the Chiefs at number three. I mean,
Well, then you better pray that Carson Wentz gives Denver like the fight of their life.
Can we get if anybody in the NFL is fucking listening right now, Carson Wentz, the vintage Wentz, we'll take him. We'll see.
I need Carson Wentz when he was leading the Eagles. I need that Carson Wentz
Yeah.
to pull off some magic. Carson, if you're listening to this, I'm telling you, it's going to be good for your career if you have an amazing game and you knock Denver out of this and let Cincinnati in. I'm telling you, a team will sign you. Hell, the Cowboys may sign you as a backup. Just do it.
Shit.
You'll have a chance.
I mean,
Fair enough.
I'd rather have the Bengals than the damn Broncos in there. Anyway, but Robert, who's your three?
All right. Oh, I can't wait. I've been waiting. Like, out of everything we've been talking about, this is what I've been waiting for. My number three team is the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, folks, I'm going into a little tangent here. My little co-geeks got on me last week because I picked the Eagles to beat the Cowboys. And I knew Kenny Pickett was going into this game as the quarterback. And they got arrogant again. And what happened? What did I said the reason the Eagles will win is because of depth and running back. And those two things happened. First was Saquon, who just ran all over them and reached the 2,000 mark, which broke, like, he's only like the fifth player to ever do that ever. That's one. And number two, Kenny Pickett played solid until he got hurt. And even then, their third string quarterback came in through 2 touchdown passes against this team. This team is loaded with offensive firepower. They've got depth. When you have a third string quarterback, because Dallas's defense, they're not like, the worst ever. Like they have players, and they let a third string quarterback who's never played a game in the NFL, folks, never played one snap, and he threw 2 touchdown passes. The Eagles deserve to be this high up on the rankings list based on depth. So that was an awesome performance by them, dunking, and then it just made it sweeter by it being on the Cowboys. So that was great. I got the Eagles at 3.
Jake, who do you got at 3?
No, I said the Bills earlier. Moving on to number 2, I'll start. I have Minnesota Vikings, folks. Again, we say it every week. Sam Darnold, man, up for MVP as well. In fact, if they win the NFC, and they get to the championship, I think Sam Darnold has the MVP locked in. They're sitting at 14-2. They're going to play Detroit this coming week. That game's going to be. We'll get to our picks in a little bit, but that's going to be a good game, probably the best game actually. But yeah,
I've got the Vikings. I got the Vikings at number 2. Just going off of that, I mean, with Addison, Aaron Jones, JJ, with that offense with the Hawkinson as well. So I mean, we've said this week in and week out. Their offense is they got a lot of offense. Their defense is decent as well. So yeah, I got the Vikings at 2. Robert?
We're all three on the same page. I have the Minnesota Vikings at number 2 as well. Like I mentioned, I think they're the team to beat in the NFC in terms of well-rounded. Like this is a team you don't want to face early on in the playoffs, but that may end up happening if the Bucks get in and if Detroit takes care of business. That's not a tasty matchup for my team going into the wild card round. Like I'd rather see them later when like everything's on the line, just because I think Sam Darnold is on a different level right now, MVP caliber, like you've all mentioned. Like he's high up there as far as consideration. Do I think he'll win it? I don't think so. I think I think if you put in like, and this is not to diminish Sam Darnold, but I think if you put in another solid QB in that spot, like I think they're still a really formidable team. You take away Josh Allen from the Bills, what the hell are they? Like they're a 3-14 team.
I can agree with when you say that, Robert, pretty much, and I know Abe can too. You're right on that.
So, but this team is, I mean, watching them play yesterday was I was in amazement because Green Bay is another team that's up and coming, and they're going to be good in the next few years. But the way just Sam Darnold was still slinging it around, I think they were up by a lot for a while, and they were still slinging it. Like this guy's not afraid of anybody. Kind of like Baker just has that. These guys with these chips on their shoulder, like I think that's a big reason why they're playing the way they are, because they've been doubted, they've been overlooked, they've been, the knock on Sam Darnold used to be on the Jets is that he was seeing ghosts because he would be like just scared he was going to get sacked, but like that's the kind of reputation he had, and he's completely like revitalized himself. So, but yeah, the whole Vikings team is just playing awesome right now.
Awesome. All right, Abe, take me away with your number 1.
My number 1 are the Detroit Lions. I know that they're playing right now, but I got to go with the Lions. I mean, they're just playing on all cylinders. They're clicking.
They're down 21-13. 21-13.
And they're down right now, but hey, it is what it is, folks. My stuff will change next week, but that's the NFL, right? It changes from week in and week out, right, Robert? So I mean, there's never been a true number 1 for consecutive weeks. Only it happened in the beginning with the Lions or the Vikings. It happened with the Vikings for about 3 or 4 weeks. I have the stats, motherfucker, so I know. All right. Anyway, I got the Lions at 1. Robert, who you got?
I mean, I'm on the Josh Allen train. I got the Buffalo Bills. They just completely annihilated the Jets yesterday. This is what I wish the Chiefs would do. Like on the teams you're supposed to beat down, like beat them down. Like just show your dominance, and then of course win the close ones. But for the Chiefs, it's like close. Like let's see some beatdowns the way Josh Allen has his team rolling. He's got a run game now, which is a real huge difference maker this season, as opposed to last season where it's just bunch of like throwing around, running around. I love his receiving core. His 2 tight ends of Kincaid and Knox, and Amari Cooper's been a nice compliment. A diva-less type of receiver who just plays ball. You never hear from him. I don't even know what he sounds like, to be honest. I don't think I've ever heard Amari Cooper talk. Like I just never hear anything out of this guy. He's a total professional. He's the kind of receiver that Josh Allen needed. He didn't need like the superstar diva like receiver, like that kind of hurt him. So yeah, I mean Buffalo, to me, I just feel like this is their year. I don't think to win it all, but to at least get there, which would be a huge step forward for this franchise.
All right. And my number 1, folks, who pretty much has been my number 1 most of the year. I think I didn't have them maybe once or twice. I had the Kansas City Chiefs sitting at 15-1 with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Pacheco, Andy Reid, Coach Reid.
Give me analysis. Why are they number 1? Give me analysis.
These guys, regardless if they've had close games or not, they still offensively are the most, I think, talented.
What?
Sure, they don't put up the
talented
points, Robert.
You said talented.
Talented. What Mahomes can do.
I mean, can you tell me? I mean, the Vikings and the Lions roster themselves are more talented than the Chiefs.
I'm sorry, but Pacheco, Kelsey's the best tight end in the league.
Didn't do shit this last game though.
He doesn't have to. They turn it on when it matters in the playoffs.
But you said talent, so
Ooh.
if they're talent,
Yeah, talent, and
it should
also
be a
we're
given.
not talking about past accomplishments. We're talking about how they are as a team this year.
But yes, and we always talk about this each week because you tell me the same thing. But these guys haven't changed. That's the thing, that their culture, everything stays the same, so they keep winning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to knock on either of you guys, but that is true. The Chiefs culture, it doesn't change. Like these guys, regardless if they're not sure, I'll give you this, Robert. Is Mahomes not looking as good as any other year? Sure.
I mean,
But is he still
just based on what we're seeing, Jake, how can you tell me that Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league? Based on what we're seeing from everybody else, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, freaking Jared Goff. Like, you can't
because
tell me
I'm
that
gonna say,
Mahomes is a top 5 just based on record. You can't tell me that.
I'll get you right here, and both y'all are gonna say it. Fourth quarter on the line, last minute drive.
Yeah,
Who do
but I'm
y'all
talking
got?
about full games where he's like he doesn't play well.
That's what I thought. But who were you? Who would you say?
What's that?
Who would you say though? You would choose who?
2 minutes, like based on the season right now, not past accomplishments, right?
No. Based on their Super Bowl reigning champs, and Mahomes has the ball. Fourth quarter, two
Well,
minutes.
of
He needs to
course, if
score.
experience, yeah, you may want to go with him. But if we're talking about this season and based on rankings, which what we do is about this season, I would pick Baker, I would pick Goff, I would pick Darnold, I would pick Josh Allen over this guy. Based on you're such a stats guy, right? I dare you to look up Patrick Mahomes' stats. I bet you he's
No,
not top 5 in
yeah, they're
any of
not
them.
good. I've said this every week. He's not. But again, when he gets to the playoffs, it's a different machine. I don't see
But we're
nobody
not
stopping
talking
the
about
Chiefs.
playoffs. We're not in the playoffs right now. We're in the regular season still.
Yeah, sure, they haven't been smashing teams like you said, Robert. But again,
So
they're
then how
about
can
to
you
be
say like this
smashing
team's like an all-timer and all this and that when they can't even squash teams?
because when it gets to the playoffs,
But
I
we're
think
not talking
they're going to
about
squash.
the playoffs have not happened. The playoffs have not started yet. We can't say that.
Real, real quick, they got the bye week. Who do they face first round?
They'll face the lower seed, so it's either going to be Denver or it'll be oh gosh, like a Baltimore or a Pittsburgh or something like that.
So you mean
See,
like it
now if
could
that
be?
happens,
So you're saying it
then
could possibly be the Chiefs and the Bengals?
Yes, if the Bengals were to somehow get in and they could win their wild card game against Buffalo, they would go to Kansas City.
Oh man! And
Carson
if you
Wentz.
and if you remember, did it Burrow take out Buffalo and didn't Burrow take out Kansas City?
Yep.
Robert.
Yep.
Mm.
real quick. So
You at the
we'll get to
bottom,
that.
you won't
We're gonna,
admit that.
folks. We're
You
gonna
won't
get to
admit
that.
that.
We're gonna get to
You won't
Dude,
admit that. Anyway,
if Joe Burrow was on the Kansas City Chiefs, they would be squashing teams.
it would. It'd be like 50 dubs every game because of the
Like
receivers
Joe
that he's
Burrow,
got.
I would take Joe Burrow right now, even though he's on like a bad team, even though they're like on a heater right now. But I would take him as far as like being a better quarterback right now over Patrick Mahomes.
Hmm.
cool. Agreed. All right, folks. Abe, Robert? Robert's gonna get us into the weekly matchups for week
No,
eight.
we're gonna get into the weekly stats real quick. Robert, last week
Oh,
we had that one game left, so I actually added the game on there. So you ended up going 10-6. I went 8-8. And I think Jake is getting his info from like other people from experts. So he went 13-3.
That's like the best.
Uh,
That's the
oh,
best week of his career.
I know, sheesh, man. Like, yeah. So for the season for that week, Robert, you're at 112-70. I am at 104-78. Jake's at 98-69, and then our special guest remained at 43-13. Fast
Oh,
forward to
how did
this.
Steven do last week?
Well, I'm getting to that right now.
Okay,
So this week, Robert, we still got the one game left that's going on right now.
right.
Robert, you ended up going 11-4. I went 10-5. Again, I think Jake is cheating the books here. He went 12-3, and
What?
Steve-O went 9-6, 9-6.
Oof.
So for the year, Robert at 123-74. I am at 114-83. Jake's at 110-72. And then our special guest went to 52-20. So that leaves me 9 games behind. So of course there's not 9 games left. So Robert wins this year on at
Woo!
least that one. Well, it looks like that's what you're heading into. But that's our weekly stuff. And then of course next week I'll have the updated one with tonight's game, and I think we all have Detroit winning this one anyway, or we picked Detroit. So,
Yes.
all right, Robert. So now we're heading into the Week 18 matchups, and go ahead if you want to get us going on that.
All right, Week 18 season finale, folks. We got games on Saturday again this weekend. We got two of them in a doubleheader. First up will be the Cleveland Browns traveling to face the Baltimore Ravens. Jake mentioned this earlier. If Baltimore wins, they clinch the AFC North. So this kind of depends on how Pittsburgh will want to play it out because they'll play on. Actually, they play the same day. They'll just play later. So this could either help the Steelers or help the Bengals. So, Jake, who do you have in this matchup?
Yeah, and oh man, my do fast folks. I picked Cleveland, not knowing before I wrote it down that Baltimore they would clinch the AFC North. I thought they were going to sit their players like a doof. Um, Abe's laughing. That's cool. So I have Cleveland winning, but they're going to lose more than likely. Not much to say on that. Baltimore's
I
going
mean,
to
it wouldn't be shocking if they win. It's divisional game. It's Lamar plays weird against these teams. I think he's lost to them also. So, or no, he lost to the Raiders. I take that back.
Yeah.
We'll see how it ends up. I got Cleveland. Abe, put that.
Abe,
All right.
Who do you got, Abe? Cleveland or
Uh,
Baltimore?
I'm gonna go with Baltimore on this one. They're not resting their players; they want to win that. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Baltimore on this game.
yeah, I'm going Baltimore as well. I think they'll handle their business early, maybe in the first half, and then it'll be too much for Cleveland, and they'll rest players starting in the second half. So I got the Ravens here, big. All right, next up in this doubleheader on Saturday, it's the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to face the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now the Bengals have to win and get some help to get into the playoffs. So this is like they cannot lose, they cannot tie or anything like that. The Steelers, based on how we all picked, this won't really matter much for them because they've clinched the playoff spot. So we'll see if Pittsburgh fights hard. Now, if Baltimore loses, that paves the way for Pittsburgh to win and win the AFC North. So they would get a home game in the playoffs. So I'm just giving everybody context here. So, Jake, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers more than likely
You fucking
crushing
schmuck.
crushing Burrow and the Bengals' hopes, Jamar Chase as well, from getting into the playoffs. Because we all know more than likely Denver's gonna beat Kansas City based
We
off
don't
that
know
they're
that.
not
We don't know that.
starting. More than likely, but we'll see. I got Pittsburgh. I know this is a home game in Pittsburgh. Tomlin and Wilson, they'll come through. I got Steelers.
I think the NFL was smart. I'm going to go next. I think the NFL was smart here. I think they know Baltimore's going to wrap it up, and they want to see Cincinnati make a run. So I got Cincinnati. I mean, Joe Burrow is just on the most abs. If you want to talk about MVP votes right now, like I think he'd be like top 3 to get nominated. He's carrying his entire team on his back. They put out a meme I saw last night, and it's from that Breaking Bad TV show, and the clip something about like, yeah, we did this or whatever, and Walter White's like, what do you mean we? Like, it's been all me. Like, I've been doing everything. So I got the Bengals big here. Joe Burrow's just on another whole other level. He's the elite of the elite, man. He is him. Abe?
Fair enough. Abe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I want them to make the playoffs because Robert and I we believe he's the only one that can take down Mahomes. And so I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. I'm sure Pittsburgh will put up a fight, but Burrow and Chase and Higgins now they're all three connecting. It's too much. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals here.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, we move to Sunday. First game here is the Carolina Panthers traveling to face the Atlanta Falcons. Going to get some context for our audience and for you guys on what needs to happen here for the Falcons to make the playoffs. So they're still in the hunt. They need to win their game, and then they need Tampa Bay to lose against the Saints. So the Falcons still have a lot to play for. The Panthers here could play spoiler and ruin it for the Falcons. Jake, who do you have in this matchup?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Atlanta because a lot like Robert just laid out for us, folks, is on the line for them. Carolina, sure, Bryce Young has been playing pretty good the past few weeks, but that's not going to really matter, especially like Atlanta really needing to win, especially if they want to get that playoff spot. I see
Abe?
Atlanta winning.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for narrative reasons because I've been talking highly about them all year. So I'm gonna go with the Panthers beating the Falcons. I think Bryce Young may top Penix just a little bit more. I know the Panthers are without Chuba Hubbard, but Thielen showed his vintage self, so I think they'll do it again. Help the Bucks out.
Yeah, Thielen was making some plays against that Bucks defense, and we know the Falcons defense ain't too like high caliber either, so you can score on them. So I think this game's going to be super interesting. Um, I do kind of give Bryce Young, you're right, the advantage over Michael Penix here. And I'm not narrative reasons here, but I think I'll go Panthers to play spoiler. I think the Falcons, they'll be formidable next year and give Penix a full offseason to really take this team under his wing. Because again, this is only going to be his third start. High stakes like that, that's really a lot to ask for a rookie QB, especially since he hasn't had a full season of play yet. So Panthers. All right, next up, we got the Houston Texans traveling to face the Tennessee Titans. The Texans aren't really playing for much. They wrapped up their division. They're in the playoffs. They may rest starters, not sure. I mean, if they want to protect Stroud, I'd probably not play him, especially with that offensive line. Titans defense is kind of formidable. Jake, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texans. After they had that horrendous last week game against Baltimore, they're gonna bounce back from that. Whether they start Stroud or not, I think whoever the quarterback is, they win. Tennessee has Will Levis is out, right? I mean, he's
Yep.
been injured.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's Rudolph.
I mean, he's not injured. He just got benched. He's done.
Yeah, he's done.
oh, damn.
Abe?
Yeah, I got the Texans.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Texans. I don't really like this Titans team too much this year. And I know Pollard's out. I think he's just shut down for the rest of the year. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm gonna go with the Texans. I think they kind of redeemed themselves from that 2 point um, score from last week.
Yeah, I got the Texans as well. I think you can only go up from here, as Jake said. Like, there's nothing worse than 2 point other than a shutout. That's the worst you can do. Same thing for the previous game, right? The Panthers got squashed out by the Bucks. I think they're going to play a little bit better this week for some pride. So, good picks here. So we're all on the Texans this week in their season finale. Let's move on. Next game is going to be the New York Giants coming off that huge win against Indianapolis. Traveling to face the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the big question mark here, just for context for everybody, is will the Eagles start Saquon Barkley? Everybody knows he's chasing that record of Eric Dickerson for the highest rushing yards for a single season, which I believe is 21 something. And Saquon's already at the 2,000 mark. So Sirianni has said, like, hey, we may start him, we may not. So I don't know if that has anything to do with like you guys picks, but just want to give you all that context. Nothing really on the line here for the Eagles as far as like position wise. I think they're locked in at the number 2 spot. So Jake, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Philly. I think, of course, they're gonna keep Jalen Hurts out because he's still kind of injured and banged up. They'll put what's his name, Pickett, right?
If he's healthy enough. If not, you can start that
Yeah.
third string quarterback. We saw what he did last week.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna go with. I mean, there's not much to say about this. Whether they
So
go
who,
with
so
Pickett,
who you picking then?
The
I
Eagles.
got the Eagles.
Eagles. Okay. Abe.
Hey, Robert, that third stringer isn't that Joe? I'm hearing that that's Joe Montana's grandson, or
Oh,
not
I don't
his
know about
kid.
that. I would have to look
Oh,
that up.
okay.
I'm not sure.
I
That's
I thought I heard that, or I thought I saw some analyst saying that
could be
that's
true.
Joe Montana's. I don't know if I don't think it's his son. I think maybe grandson or something like that. I don't know,
I'm not
but
sure.
I'm gonna go with the Eagles here. I think the Giants kind of screwed themselves last week by demolishing the Colts. So I
Yeah.
think they're probably. Well, I mean, I don't think they'll do that again. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles here.
I think the Eagles will play Saquon, but I think just for a half, and if they can't get anything going, then they'll pull him out real quick. But as I mentioned on my power rankings list, the Eagles just are too deep, and they've got a really good roster here to even their backups here can do well against Drew Lock and the Giants. So I got the Eagles here. All right, next up, in a game that has absolutely no meaning for anybody, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to face the Indianapolis Colts. I'll go quickly here. Colts are probably pissed they blew the last game, so they'll come back strong and win here. That's it. Jake?
Sounds good. Yeah, not much to say on that one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Indianapolis as well, especially Flacco. Man, that game was crazy, man. They scored a lot of points, New York and the Colts.
They screwed themselves, man.
Yeah,
Both
it was
teams.
pretty stupid. Yeah, Jacksonville's looked just absolutely terrible. Trevor Lawrence, man, you better come back next year and do better. I got the Colts.
Abe?
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I'm going to go with the Colts as well.
All right, moving on. We got the again, there's no stakes here for a team that's already in the playoffs. The Washington Commanders. Actually, this will help the Falcons or the Bucks, depending on what happens. The Commanders traveling to face the Dallas Cowboys. I wanted to say this real quick because my dad mentioned it. He's like, dude, man, if the Falcons beat the Commanders, we're gonna have to cheer for the Cowboys on Sunday, because that would be the only way for the Bucks to get in because they hold the tiebreaker over Washington. But I expect. I'll let Jake, you go first. I'm still thinking about it.
I'm gonna go with the Commanders.
What?
After Dallas got absolutely destroyed, destructed, demolished, smashed, every fucking word you could think of, and embarrassed against the second string and third string quarterback in the Eagles. I've had it with my Cowboys. Micah Parsons said something real stupid. And I showed you guys off air. He said if you change 5 plays, then the game would have been a lot closer or something like that. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I think it's his dumbass podcast he's on that's making him stupid. But that's, I mean, ridiculous. They looked absolutely horrible, my Cowboys. I've never felt so diminished in my life. I'm gonna go with the Commanders.
From a football standpoint, that makes me so happy to hear you say that.
Yeah, it's
Abe, who do you have?
I already lost the picks this year, so fucking right if I get it wrong. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're gonna sweep the Commanders. I know they got swept by the Eagles. I think they'll sweep the Commanders. The Commanders are already in the playoffs, so they really, if the Eagles would have lost, I think that the Commanders would have had a chance for the title, right, for the NFC East if the Eagles had lost.
No.
I'm not okay. Well, I'm gonna go with the Commanders. The Cowboys. I'm going with the Cowboys.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with the Commanders here just to be on the safe side, at least for their sake, because if they lose and Atlanta wins and Tampa wins their game, then that's their shot to get into the playoffs. And they'll knock Washington out of that wild card spot. So I don't think they can afford to kind of like just be whatever with this game. So I think Washington's going to be on it. So I got the Commanders winning. All right. Next up, we got the Chicago Bears traveling to face the Green Bay Packers, who I'm sure are pissed. They lost yesterday to the Vikings. So who do you got, Jake?
I'm gonna go with the Packers. Green Bay, exactly what Robert just said. They lost that close game to the Vikings. Right, it was the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Tripping for a second. Yeah. Close game. Sam Darnold came through though. Sorry, little Steven, but yeah, your Packers will bounce back and be fine against Well, man, I don't know. Now I'm really thinking
Don't you
about
dare
it.
pick Caleb Williams.
Maybe Caleb Williams and that fucking Chicago stomps them. Who knows? But I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Maybe they stop. They're not stopping them. Abe, who do you have?
I don't have much to say. I'm gonna go with the Packers on this one.
No shot, Abe. The Bears, no shot.
The Bears
Nope.
stink.
They suck,
All right.
bro.
They
Jake
lost
Williams,
6. They
man.
lost
Why didn't you
6
pick them?
They lost 6-3.
They got thumped.
So I'm gonna be on the safe side.
That offense can't do anything. I got the Packers here. They want to go into the playoffs with momentum and playing good football. So I see a squash here. I see like a 34-10 type of game. So I got the Packers big here. All right, next up, it's the New Orleans Saints traveling to face my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm gonna go ahead and go first here. So for playoff purposes, the Bucks just need to win this game, and they're in the playoffs. They control their destiny, so they don't need other things to happen. Um, if this were in New Orleans, I'd kind of feel a little bit nervous just because New Orleans does know how to play this team tough. But the Bucks will be at home. I think the Bucks know they're in like survival mode right now. They got their backs against the wall, so they're not gonna. I'll probably admit they probably took that Cowboys game lightly, so they know they can't do that here and win, and they're in. So I got the Bucks taking care of business at home. Jake,
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, folks. 'Cause I just watched a little bit of New Orleans highlights. All of a sudden, they are looking like I don't know what kind of team. It was, yeah, I don't even know what quarterback was in. They had some trick plays going on. New Orleans looked a little interesting. I don't know if Abe saw any of that or Robert.
I was watching a
I
little
mean,
bit of that game on Red Zone, whatever they
they
showed.
only had that one trick play, man. I mean, that was
But that
it.
was still pretty cool. That was still
I
pretty
mean,
cool. That
I
trick
mean,
play.
pretty cool. They only scored 10 points. Vegas won 25-10.
Still, Abe, with that said, the Raiders are the Raiders. But yeah,
So are you picking the Saints or going off that trick play, or who are you picking?
no, not just the trick play, but no, I mean Tampa Bay is going to squash them because it's Baker and Evans and then boys. So I got the Bucks.
Abe,
Yeah, I mean, Bucks, hands down. I mean, the Saints, they're washed, man. They're no good. I want to see them try that trick play on the Bucks. That ain't gonna happen. I mean, the
Yeah,
Bucks
well,
even ain't the
that's what I'm
best,
saying.
but I
I mean,
mean, that'll get picked off all day by any other team. I mean, you're playing the
that
Raiders,
I
bro.
guess that's true. But again, a lot of these teams they like to play to knock out teams. So that's all I'll say on that.
The Bucks win. I got the Bucks.
all right. Next up, we got the Buffalo Bills traveling to face my New England Patriots. I'll be real quick here. The Patriots will lose this game, and they will get the number one pick in the draft for 2025. Even though the Bills have nothing to play for here, but they'll win. Patriots lose. Jake,
This is another one where I picked the Patriots because I assume that Josh Allen and all of them are sitting out, aren't they?
I don't know. Maybe not.
We don't know.
Maybe they're not cowards like the Chiefs, so maybe they'll play a half or a couple series and then rest.
With that said, I still have the Patriots. Yeah.
With the if they go this route of the starters not playing, the Chiefs won't be playing for like 3 weeks. Like that's insane.
That,
Like they need to watch out because then, usually teams that take that much rest, like
haven't they done that before?
no, nobody does. That's what I'm saying. Like the Patriots during their dynasty, Tom Brady would always play in the season finale, even though they had like the bye, just to keep that rhythm and momentum going.
Fair enough. And to counter that with somebody who you dislike on Facebook, some guy named Brad, the Chiefs are the only team also, right, to play 4 games in 11 days.
Oh, please. So did the Texans, so did the Ravens or whoever. Like nobody there, you don't see them complaining. Yeah, that's what I thought. Abe, who do you have in this game?
For the sake of the Pats sticking to number one, I'm gonna go with the Bills.
All right. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Chargers traveling to face the Las Vegas Raiders. Jake, who do you got?
Another one where if they sit all the players, I got the Raiders.
Okay. Abe?
I'm gonna go Chargers on this one.
Chargers.
I don't have much to.
Yeah, I'm with Jake. The Chargers have nothing to play for. Harbaugh would be wise to rest out some players. I know like McClunky was injured a couple games back. Sit him out. Sit out Herbert. Raiders, that coach knows the end's coming, but he's gonna keep fighting hard to win games. So he's gonna have his team playing hard. I got the Raiders.
Real quick, guys. With this whole resting shit, like, you know how in the NBA players get rested, they get fined, Robert or Abe, do you feel like this will ever happen in the NFL if these teams start
No,
doing that shit?
because
No.
they're resting at the last game. The NBA players they're resting them when it's back to back nights, so they're resting them on the first or the second night. So that's why they're getting fines because they just keep resting them, even though the
Yeah.
NBA is 85 game season. So
Yeah.
the NFL it's 18. So I mean, them resting the players for one game
More physical.
isn't going to hurt.
NFL.
Yeah, but it's not going to hurt anything.
Yeah. I hope we don't get to that point. I just want that.
Nah, I don't see that happening. All right, next up, we got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to face the Arizona Cardinals in another meaningless game. Jake, who do you got?
Arizona Cardinals, what and who? I'm sorry.
The 49ers?
As fuck, I don't. You guys haven't watched any of the game. I've been looking at it here and there. The
Jake,
49ers
the game has no meaning for anybody. Just pick
yeah,
somebody.
I know. Well, I mean, for the Lions a little bit, but the 49ers have been looking fucking good. So
Then pick them.
right now, I'm gonna go with. Well, who did I have? Let me see. Yeah, I had the 49ers anyway, beating Arizona. Abe.
All right, Abe.
I'm going to go with the 49ers. I don't have much to say in this game.
I got the 49ers also. They're going to finish out strong after this disappointing hangover season. All right, next up is Abe's game of the week. It's the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to face the Denver Broncos. How's this game going to go, Abe?
So we've been talking about this, right? With them resting the players and they're gonna rest them. But Robert, we have this narrative where
We
we
have to
want them.
manifest it. We have to manifest it.
It's got to be. This is gonna be vintage Wentz, and he's gonna come back and be of the Eagles of the past. And I think, I mean, the Broncos. I mean, I feel like they're just stunned. I mean, and come on, Robert. I mean, Andy Reid is a better coach than Sean Payton, so I highly doubt that Sean Payton will edge him on this one, even though they're going to sit the players. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. Come on, Robert. Don't you fucking
Jake, go ahead.
You know what? I'm going with Denver. I'm gonna go with the
gosh.
win and end for
You
Denver.
freaking
Bo
piece of
Nix.
shit, man. We
Uh,
didn't even fucking know about
that game,
damn.
this past game on Saturday, man, and it was the Bengals, right? They faced the
Yeah.
Bengals Saturday. That they deserve to win that game. I mean, Bo Nix, they went
No,
into
you don't
overtime.
deserve anything in this league. You earn it.
And, it was fucking close. He's a rookie quarterback. Joe Burrow's been in the league already a few years.
Gosh,
That
dude,
game was the best
you
game.
didn't fucking know shit about Bo Nix, dude, until fucking you heard Robert and I talk about him all fucking season. You didn't know
He
shit
looked
about
good,
him,
man.
dude.
He looked good. That game to me, that might have been my game of the year. It was fucking like I liked that game the other night. Really good.
Right.
I'm gonna go with Denver. Yeah.
I'm going with the Chiefs for narrative and manifesting reasons. Carson Wentz, again, if you're listening to this is your chance, man. Like, don't you want to have a second shot at your career? Look at Sam Darnold. Look at Baker Mayfield. Don't you want to have that for yourself? Like, do you just want to stay there as a backup and just like hand it down and like just let the Chiefs just lay over and you lose and you just be collateral in that? Or do you want to step up and make your moment and be like, oh shit, like I could really make a statement here. I'm not saying going rogue, but just play really well. Like get your team hyped up for you and make plays and get Joey B in there because he won't knock you out. He'll knock out Mahomes, not you. And then you'll help yourself with like a little contract because the team's going to be looking for a quarterback somewhere down the line, whether it's starting or backup. And if you go backup for a not so good starter, you have a chance to play in the regular season. So just think about it. Think about it. Real hard. Chiefs win. Let's go. All right. Next up, we got the Seattle Seahawks traveling to face the Los Angeles Rams. Seattle's eliminated, so there's really not much at stake here. Although I think if the Rams somehow lose, I think this may hurt them in terms of them drop. They're the third spot right now. So let's say Tampa wins out, they'll be 10-7, and the Rams would be 10-7 as well. But based, I think, on conference records and everything, the Bucks would be above them, so the Bucks would jump to the third spot. So there is kind of some reason for the Rams to play hard here. So who do you got, Jake?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams. I I think Robert mentioned earlier, or one of us, that Stafford is, he's getting older and stuff, and they would be wise to rest him. Or I might have heard that on just YouTube highlight or something. But I think with Stafford getting older, it would be wise to rest him. But would it
Not if
change
you
the
want.
playoff?
Not. Would you? Well, so think about it this way, Jake. So if the Rams rest Stafford, they lose, they drop to the 4th seed. They're going to end up playing Minnesota or Detroit. If they stay in the 3rd slot, they're going to end up playing Washington, or I forgot who's the other team in the NFC right now, or Green Bay, I think. Wouldn't you rather face Green Bay or Washington as opposed to like a Minnesota or Detroit?
Not. Oh well, I mean, the Commanders are pretty strong right now and looking really good. I mean, the
Yeah,
Rams
but
either
you
way.
would you would get to host a game, so the Commanders would have to go on the road. But wouldn't you rather play one of them as opposed to like Darnold? I mean, we were talking so highly about them. Like, how are you all of a sudden gonna be like, yeah, we'll play them, no big deal. Like, I'm telling you, as a Bucks fan, I wouldn't want to face. I'd rather face out of the 2 Detroit rather than Minnesota. Um, but if I'm Los Angeles, I want to win that game Sunday.
I still have the Rams winning. I picked the Rams, but
Okay.
yeah.
Abe, who do you
But
got?
you're right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams on this game. I don't have much to say on it's the Seahawks, right? Rams Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the Seahawks. I think Gino's done, huh? In Seattle, Robert?
I don't know. I can see him coming back. I mean, they may end up drafting a quarterback. I'm not too familiar with this year's college roster as far as like, I don't think it's as deep as this season was or this draft class. But for the sake of narrative purposes, and if the Bucks can slide into the 3 spot, of course, I know given that they win their game, of course. If there's a chance for them to get into the 3rd spot and the Rams drop down, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks here for me. I'm gonna manifest it. That means the LA Rams have to face Minnesota or Detroit first. All right. Next up, we got the Miami Dolphins, who are also still in the hunt, as long the same reasons as Cincinnati. So they have to have Cincinnati lose. They got to win, and they got to have Kansas City beat Denver for them to get into the playoffs. They're facing the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers, who just got embarrassed against the Bills. Jake, who do you have?
Real quick, I wrote down though, Robert, for Miami, clinch with win and Broncos lose. The Broncos would have to lose, I believe.
Oh, okay. So I think they hold a better record over the Bengals. So you're right. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Just good. Yeah, make sure on that. I don't know if I was. I'm
No,
gonna go with
you're
Miami.
right. You're right.
Okay, cool. For
Who
once,
do you got?
Miami over the fucking embarrassing Jets.
That was y'all's teams, guys. That's your guy, Aaron Rodgers.
He'll bounce back next year. Don't worry about it. But whatever. That's a
It's
whole
another.
other.
It's another year older.
Who do you got, Abe? Miami or Jets?
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins here. I don't have much to say on this one. I'm going Dolphins.
What a downfall for you all, and you had the Jets in the
It
Super
was
Bowl.
just a bad year. Just a bad year. Generally, I'll bounce back next year.
Bad call by you all year. That's like, if you want to take it back, you could be like, man, I was so dead wrong about this team.
Well, I did take it back, or at least my Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, but it's okay to admit, like, hey, this Jets team was just sucked. Like, it's okay to admit that.
There's some weird fucking manifestation from you, Robert.
I like Aaron Rodgers. I've never had a problem with Aaron Rodgers. I just never saw this team as being anything. It's just a collection of players. They don't have a culture. They don't have a head coach. Like, if they had a Harbaugh, they maybe would have been something.
Pete Carroll to the Jets?
No. That Jets job, I don't know who wants it, but I would not want that job. All right, Jake, you're on the Dolphins. Abe, you're on the Dolphins. I'm gonna go with the Jets here. Again, I've already won the season, so I think Aaron Rodgers goes out on a little bit of a high here. Although I think Devontae Adams might be hurt, but he's still got Garrett Wilson. Miami's traveling, so I think it's going to be cold in New York, and we all know Miami can't play good in cold weather. So
that is true. That is true, Robert.
All right, final game of the regular season for Week 18. My game of the week. for the number one seed in the NFC and the clinching of the NFC North. It's the Minnesota Vikings and Sam Darnold traveling to face Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. This is going to be like a huge heavyweight playoff game. I suggest everybody tune in, although the most annoying thing will be Chris Collinsworth at the commentary table. That's going to be about to be the worst thing that we have to deal with. But it should be a great game. I think it's going to be super close. I'm looking like a 30-27 type game. Who's got the ball last? Who's going to get their kicker in position? And I say the Minnesota Vikings will win the number one seed. They will avenge their loss from earlier in the season against the Lions on the road. They're hurting on defense. What's the score right now, Jake, on that game?
It's currently commercial.
Okay. But I think if we were looking where the Niners were up on that team.
Yeah, it's all like 21-13.
Oh, okay, it's tied up at 21. If this Niners team can put up 21 points, what do you think Sam Darnold and company are going to be able to do against this team? Now, I know they're going to play a little bit harder because they're fighting for the number one spot. But I think Minnesota here, they're on a special ride right now, and I think that's going to carry them into the number one seed. So I got the Minnesota Vikings. Jake, who do you have?
Yep, a lot is on the line for this game. The winner, like Robert said, clinches the first seed. Loser will be put in the fifth seed.
Correct.
This is another thing where first time in NFL history, two teams meeting with first 13 wins each. Just a little fun stat.
Interesting.
I got the Vikings. The way Detroit's looking against 49ers right now, that's.
Are they looking ahead? They're looking ahead.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe they are. And they skipped 49ers. I got Minnesota. I think it's close, like you said, Robert. But I'll trust Darnold over Goff right now.
You can rattle Goff. I think Sam Darnold, he threw a pick early against the Packers. Didn't phase him. Literally just Tom Brady-esque, just forgot about it and just continued playing. Abe, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Vikings here. I think they're gonna play hard, like y'all have been saying. This is gonna be a good game, though. It's not gonna be like a shootout. I mean, well, it could turn into that.
Yeah.
But like you said, Robert, I think the Vikings are gonna come back for revenge from that game that they played a couple of weeks back, where the Lions just dominated on that in Minnesota. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings here.
Yeah. I mean, don't forget the Vikings or the Lions. The last time they had everybody intact, right? They had Sonic and Knuckles. They had Hutchinson still on the defensive side of the ball, and now they're minus a couple of parts there. So this is Minnesota's for the taking. So we'll see how it goes. I just hope it's a really good game. You know, I don't have stakes in it personally, but I just hope for a good game.
Awesome.
All right, and those are all the games, guys, for Week 18, the season finale. We only got a couple episodes left this season, so we got playoffs coming up, and Brandon will be making his debut on the show starting Super Wild Card Weekend, so we're looking forward to that. Abe, you want to close us out for today's episode?
Yes, I just want to say it's been a pleasure with you guys. As we close in on the season of the 2 Minute Drive podcast. You guys be safe and Happy New Year.
The final episode of 2024.
The final one of 2024. Everybody out there listening, be safe. Enjoy this time with your families, and make sure don't drink and drive. Take an Uber. So with that being said, you can go ahead and hit us up on our socials. Our email is the 2 Minute Drive podcast. It's the number 2 TWO spelled out. Minute Drive podcast at outlook.com. Send us your email, send us your thoughts, whatever you want to talk about. Robert runs the Facebook page at 2 Minute Drive podcast, and he also runs the TikTok page as well. I believe it's at 2 Minute Drive as well, Robert. On the TikTok?
2 Minute Drive at 2 Minute Drive podcast on TikTok.
At 2 Minute Drive podcast on TikTok. Jake runs the Instagram account, 2 Minute Drive podcast as well. I run the X account. It's going to be at the letter U, R Roughness Podcast for the X account. You can listen to this episode on all the platforms out there, Podbean, Spotify, Apple iTunes, YouTube, you name it, it's on there. Give us a listen, give us a like. I appreciate Robert again. Not feeling well coming on the show. You've been a trooper. Jake, thanks for hosting a good episode this week, and we'll be back
Yes, sir.
next week. Again, you guys, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to
Have
you
a good New
guys.
Year's Eve, guys.
Yeah,
Everybody
New
be
Year's,
safe out there.
sir.
Yeah, happy New Year to
All of
everyone here and everyone listening. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. We still got a couple episodes for the season, but like we mentioned, this is the last one for 2024. We're recording on a Monday, so that way we can enjoy the holidays with our families and all that good stuff. So appreciate you all.
All right, that'll do it for this week's episode. Once again, I'm Abraham Trevino with Robert Palace and Jake Ramirez signing off for the 2 Minute Drive podcast.
All right, later, guys.
Later.
Later.